One day back in college, the teacher had stapled answer sheets to the back of every test by mistake. A few minutes after passing the tests around, his phone rang and he stepped out. Everyone had noticed the answer sheet and we decided that we would all use it and tear it off after. Hopefully he would never notice. So, I checked each of the answers and they were all correct except for the last one, where we were to draw a flow chart for a process. I checked the answer sheet for this one and saw that it read, "Answers will vary." I drew my flow chart, tore off the answer sheet, and walked to the front podium to turn the test in. When I got to the podium, I had to know. I needed to see what everyone else had drawn for their flow charts. Answers will vary. Everyone had written that on their tests. Idiots. I honestly don't even remember what the teacher ended up doing about it. My ex-boyfriend's mom had just had her eye makeup tattooed on, and sent my boyfriend and his brother to the store for a couple of things. It wasn't until my ex and his brother were in the checkout line receiving funny looks from the clerk that he realized that they were two lone men buying nothing but cucumbers and Vaseline, which his mom wanted to soothe the swelling on her eyes. My ex panics and blurts out, "No, it's okay, he's my brother," while gesturing to his brother. They received even more funny looks. He just stopped talking, figuring there was nothing he could do to salvage the situation, and just accepted the judgment. High school, junior year, first day of class. The teacher walks in. It's an older, wrinkly guy with a creepy mustache. A little weird looking. His shirt is only tucked in on one side. Everyone is just getting the wrong vibe from this guy. Like, he's not all there in the head. He's got a maniacal look in his eyes. He's creepy. He starts going through attendance, not looking up the whole time. Then he gets to my name, starts to say it, then stops. Looks up, scans the room, looks directly at me. Says my name. "I'm glad you're here. How's your family? Is your little sister still playing the piano? Is that model ship still on your dresser? Is your room still blue?" I'm shocked, mortified. I can't find the words to respond. This creeper has just described my family, and the room I sleep in at night. He continues, "Well, of course it is. It's only been what? A week?" Then he goes back to attendance. Panics were had that day. But anyways, the next day I find out the old crazy guy is my uncle's best friend, and they and my dad decided to pull a prank on me for my first day. The teacher wasn't so crazy looking the rest of the year. He shaved the creepy stash, which he grew specifically for the prank, apparently. Dressed better, stopped making his eye twitch, etc. I have to admit, it was a good prank, even if I was terrified of being murdered for a day or two. I'm an American in China, and I arranged a meeting with a guy from Germany. I go to his hotel. He says, "I'm coming down in the elevator." The elevator opens, and the only Western face I see is a guy looking for me, or so I thought. He introduces himself with a thick accent. We talked for half an hour before we both figured out that we were supposed to be meeting other businessmen. And yep, sure enough, there they were, in the elevator area waiting for us. Another American and German. After being with the fourth girl of my young life at the time, I decided to get an STD check, not for any physical reasons, but mostly for the emotional reassurance. Anyways, I called my neighbor across the street, who is 3 years older than me, who's basically my big brother, and told him that I made an appointment to get checked. I asked him what it entailed. He said it wasn't too bad. They did a sperm sample, swabbed his member, checked his blood, etc. So, I felt somewhat prepared going in there a few days later. On my way to the clinic, I was feeling a little nervous about producing in a cup, but I reassured myself that it was going to be fine. When I finally got there, an older lady called my name, handed me a clear cup, escorted me to the restroom, and said, "Please go in here." Now, I was picturing a smaller, more comfortable room where I could do my thing privately. But I thought, F it. The bathroom will suffice, I guess. I remember looking around for some pornographic material because my neighbor said that they provide you with some, but there was nothing. I remember thinking, what the hell? This place just expects us to use our imagination? Disappointed, I said, "Oh well, it's not like I haven't used just my imagination before." So I began. "Yes, handling myself over the sink. Anyways, I remember finishing pretty damn fast, almost too fast. So, I thought that I'd wait in there an additional 10 minutes because I didn't want her to think that I was some type of freak. After waiting in there for what felt like an eternity, I finally handed my filled cup back to the old lady nurse, who acted impatient and upset that I took so long. I began following her down the hallway. The woman set the cup on this desk, table thing, looked at it, and then picked it up again before jiggling it a little bit. She stopped, and I held my breath as I looked at her face turn from confusion to sheer horror. She turns to me and goes, Sir, we only needed your urine. I will never forget the feeling that I had at that very moment. My face got red. I felt immediately hot. My legs felt weak. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. There have been many embarrassing moments in my life, but luckily, I can think pretty quickly on my feet and dig my way out of most uncomfortable situations. As for this moment, there was no shovel in sight for me to dig myself out. Nothing to say, nothing to do. I just stood there terrified. I had just deposited my DNA in a urine sample cup, and now this poor elderly woman, who was probably months away from retirement, was horrified and confused as she gripped a cup of my white pee. I'm guessing the clinic never trained her for situations like this. Even if she had made a joke to lighten the mood, it would have been better. It would have killed the tension in the room. Instead, she remained stoic. I felt awkward and scared. I felt like a monster. After going back to pee and a few other tests later, I got the F out of there. Yes, I did assume that she wanted a sperm sample, but the woman never specified what she wanted. Therefore, she assumed I knew too. And when both people assume something, chances are that one of them is going to get a cup full of the other one's DNA. It's just the way it is. I partly blame her. I still cringe just thinking about that day. Sometimes when I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I randomly think of that old woman's face as she realized that she was holding a cup filled with my white pee, and I just burst out laughing and shake my head. Good times.